It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so let's get started with this independent agent training for David Allen Capital. This is completely focused on David Allen Capital for any of you who are brand new with the Longevity Services division of DAC, and you're focused on marketing the services provided by Longevity, and maybe you're only focused on DAC. Many of our agents are. It's a great way to make big upfront money by helping business owners in your community. So let's go through this training, and then we'll take questions at the end. Number one, a couple highlights again. If you're brand new to the business, very flexible. You can work when you want, where you want. And of course, there's a big financial upside for helping small business owners to get capital. You simply refer the business to your website that we've given you for free. You got it when you joined at your davidallencapital.com/your ID. The customer simply fills out information for pre-qualification and funding, and we take over from there. Again, there's no license or experience required. We'll provide all training and support that you need, and you earn 2.5% to 4% of the funding amount. And you're going to learn in this training what differentiates that, of course. Client funding is anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000. We actually did it $800,000 last week, so we can do more. Our lenders, the highest they've ever done is $4 million. But what we say is $10,000 to $500,000. We also had a deal for only $5,000 today, so we'll do less than $10,000. But what we advertise is $10,000 to $500,000. Now, we'll go through when they might get less and when they might get more. David Allen Capital, I started this company in 2015 to help business owners fuel their businesses. I was a business owner, and I think it's important to know why we exist, because business owners out there today cannot depend on Chase Bank or Citigroup or banks like that to give them money. They just can't. The local pizzeria, the local tanning salon, the local party store, good luck getting money from the big banks. If they've got a house in their name that they can put up as collateral, great, they can get a loan. That's really a mortgage, right? Or a home equity loan. It's not a business loan. That is not what we do. We come and say, you know what, Chase, you should be giving them a loan. You should be giving them business capital to grow, because they've been depositing money in your bank for 10 years. This gets in my crow, as you can tell, because as a business owner, I remember there's only one time I've talked to a bank about getting capital. And because the times prior we weren't qualified, and we were told that right up front, you're not qualified. But one time, after 7 years with this bank, never asking them for a dime, we were a debt-free company. We had no loans, no debts whatsoever. We were doing $600,000 per month in sales, which you can do the math is just over 7 million. We were buying inventory for our wellness product. We made a juice beverage, and we were buying inventory, and we had $400,000 available to spend on that inventory. And if we could get up to $700,000, if we bought $700,000 worth, we would pay almost 40% less because of a volume discount. And so we went to our bank and said, hey, we're putting $400,000 in to this inventory. Can you loan us $300,000? This is only 90 days worth of inventory. We're going to sell it really quick. You'll have the money back quick. Will you help us? And they said, well, maybe, it's going to take a little time for us to serve it. Well, I said, we got to place this order in the next week. We're running out of inventory. Can you help us or not? And they said, well, do you have a house in your name? They started looking at collateral. And I said, we've been doing business with you for 7 years. We've deposited probably 70 or $80 million into your bank over the last 7 or 8 years. And we're asking you for $300,000 to buy inventory, and you can't say yes right away. That just frustrated me. And you can imagine business owners all over, party stores who are doing $100,000 a month in sales or $200,000. They need 40 grand to remodel their party store, buy new coolers, and the bank says no. So when I learned of alternative lenders, and that's why we exist, guys, we're here to stick it to the big banks who say no, or they're slow to say no. We're here. They don't, the business world does not even know we exist. Very few business owners even know that alternative lending exists. So we started this company to help fuel business owners with capital. That local pizzeria can become a Domino's pizza. That local pizzeria can become a Little Caesars with help. That little local bank can become a Quicken Loans. How do I know? These are all local one-man stops that started locally in my town that have grown into become international conglomerates. right? They start small. Every business starts as a mom and pop. And I want to help fuel those mom and pops, and you should too. That's what we do. So that's really what we're doing, is helping them. Yeah, we get paid to do it. Yeah, you want to know the details. Yeah, you want to know the benefits of qualifications and when we can get capital, when we can't, so that you can save time and be efficient. But the bottom line is, you got businesses in your community who without you can't grow, who without you can't get capital to get through that tight pinch, who without you can't buy that second location. So you are a solution for them. You're not selling anything. You're solving a lot of things. So get out there and share with them. So, and the second reason was, we wanted to have an opportunity for you and other agents nationwide. We don't want you to have to drive Uber and make $10 an hour and run your car miles way through the roof. We want you to be able to earn thousands by helping business owners in your community. So that's why this company was started. Of course, we were acquired by Longevity last year, and as they decided to move into services. You've heard that, I'm sure. The bottom line is, you're here to learn about DAC training, so let's talk about that. Okay, number one, you probably are aware of this, but let's cover it just in case you're not. A business needs capital, you refer them to DAC. We find the best funds for them. We have many providers, right? The business benefits with quick funds, you earn a commission. Now, the old way, as we've already talked about, they go to the bank says, yeah, right, we're not going to give it to you. Business owner's upset, misses out on opportunities they didn't even know they missed out on, right? They knew about this one opportunity, but what could that have done? What could we have done had we bought $700,000 worth of that inventory instead of $4 million? We would have paid tremendous, huge savings. We would have had inventory longer. That helps growth. Those are little things that make a big difference. Our bank was not there to help us. Bottom line, they just weren't there. But they wanted us to keep depositing that $600,000, $700,000 a month in sales into their bank. Frustrated by that. Hopefully you are too. So again, we're the solution. You introduce them to David Allen Capital. We have alternative providers who want to give them funds. You simply inform them that these sources exist. Because we have many relationships, we can get the best prices for the clients. There's other companies out there who do what we do, but maybe they only, like, let's talk about one lender, OnDeck Capital. OnDeck Lending, they're $1 billion company, publicly traded. They're one of our banks. They may or may not have the best offer for you, your client, let's say. If your client goes to them direct, they may get approved and get capital, but it may not be the best deal for the client. We'll find out if it is, because we do send it to OnDeck with a bunch of others, and we find the best deal for your client. We also get quick approvals and fast funding. Again, some of this you may already know, but as a training, you want to make sure you understand this, and some of you are brand new who are watching this right now. Our providers are better. They want to say yes. Okay, they focus on small businesses only. That's all they do. They value cash flow over credit score. Credit score matters. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but the cash flow is what gets them approved more than anything. Simple and fast business capital. We can get answers as fast as 1 day. Generally, it takes 2 days to get an answer, but it can be as fast as one. Capital from 10 to 500,000, we've already said. These are all short-term loans, guys, and advances. 3 to 24 months is the typical term, and no collateral required. That's the big one. All right. So by doing so, we're going out and helping them. Now, here's the qualifications. And I'm going to go over some additional qualifications, but these are the primary qualifications. They must be in business at least 4 months. Know this, 1 year is better. The longer they've been in business, the less risky they are, of course. So just because the qualifications only require 4 months doesn't mean that's ideal. All right. So if you got a client who's been in business 14 years, that's going to be a lot better than a client who's been in business 4 months, of course. So know that the minimum is 4 months, but the ideal is much longer, of course. Anywhere in the continental U.S., then you have, and including Hawaii and Alaska, so anywhere in the United States. Personal credit at least 500. There's over 700 industries we serve, and annual revenue must be at least $10,000 per month. I know that says 100,000 in the past 12 months, but a lot of people take that and go, well, if they're only doing 3,000 a month now, can I get them approved? Because they did 100,000 last year. No, you're not going to get them approved. They're not going to get approved. They need to, you really want to focus on minimum is $10,000 per month in sales. Well, David, what if I have a client who only did 9,000, but they're doing 12,000 usually? Well, yeah, I mean, they could possibly get approved, but they're always going to look at the smallest month because the future could be small months, right? If you're loaning someone money and you're a business bank and you're loaning a business owner money and they only did 6,000 in sales last month and it was 12,000 every month prior, what's the guarantee it's going to be 12,000 in the future when they've already proven it may only be 6,000? So what do you base your underwriting on? 6,000. You may say, well, they may do more, but you got to assume they're only going to do 6,000 because you're lending them money. And if they only do 6,000, they got to be able to pay it back. So let's be real. Look at this as if you're giving the money. Is 4 years better than 4 months in business? Of course. Is a 700 personal credit score better than a 500? Of course. All these things play into it. We're just showing you the minimal qualifications to apply. If they don't have these, no sense in applying. If someone's not been in business 4 months, don't waste your time. If someone's not doing 10,000 a month in sales, don't waste your time. All right, it is wasting your time and wasting our time. And if you know this, don't submit the application because we have people who work on these on your behalf. So take care of them. They're your partners. All right. Everyone working at DAC behind the scenes are your partners helping you and they're paid on commission, by the way. They're not paid hourly or salary. They're paid on commission to help you get a client. So let's not waste their time with someone who's not going to qualify. If you know it, don't submit it. All right. So let's move on. Simple funding process. Hopefully you're aware of this. If not, this is why we do this basic training. All right. You have your own website. It's davidallencapital.com/ID number. You got an ID number when you join. So you would submit that to your client who's getting started. We'll go through what to say in a minute, but let's say they're ready to go. You submit their website or you send that link to them. They fill out the pre-qualification form. This is not, I'm going to repeat, this is not, everyone say not. This is not an application. This is not their application. This is not their application. This is an online pre-qual form to let them know, yeah, you should apply or no, it's not worth it. They fill out that online pre-qual form. We look at it. If they satisfy our requirements, then what's going to happen is they're going to get an email sent to them saying, congratulations, you are pre-qualified. Here are the documents we're going to need from you. We're going to need this application, which is attached. We're going to need these other 4 or 5 sets of documents. So please reply with the filled out application and all your documents in a PDF form. So we're going to email your client. At the exact same time, we're going to notify you via email. All right. Now, I'm going to share something with you that's a little complex, but I'd rather be transparent. If you give someone the link to your site, davidallencapital.com/ID number, and they click on that, then your email, when they fill out that pre-qualified form, is automatically generated. It's instantaneous. So you're going to get it instantly. The moment they complete the form and hit submit, you get a notification that you've got a prospective client. It's done instantly. It's automated. If you don't give them the link, if they just go to davidallencapital.com and then manually enter your ID number there on the pre-qualification form, it is not automated. What happens is it's a manual email that we send out from our offices during business hours. So you may not get it till the next day. You know, if they do it at 8 o'clock at night, you may not get it till the next day. If they do it at 5 p.m. at night, you may not get it till the next day. We have people working and sending these out. You may get it that night, but the reason I say this is you may have someone who says, yeah, I filled out the form, and you're going, I have not been notified. Well, if it's a weekend or if it's an evening, you maybe won't be notified yet because it's manually you're being notified. But let's assume they clicked on your link. It's automatically generated then. You get notified immediately. We're talking to your client at this point. We're telling them what they need to know. You don't have to, right? You just submitted the deal to that. They submitted the pre-qual form on the website. We're speaking to them now. Now, I will say this, whenever you get this is what you want to do in this case. Whenever you get that email from us that says, congratulations, it's going to come from the submissions department, by the way, submissions at David Allen Capital. You're going to get an email from submissions at David Allen Capital. It says, congratulations, you have a prospective client. And it'll say, congratulations, you've got a prospective client. Their name is ABC Party Store. You'll see below the email we just sent to them. you may want to reach out to them and congratulate them and encourage they look out for their emails. That is the most important part of this process for you, is reaching out to them and congratulating them on their pre-qualification and informing them to be on the lookout for an email from us. They've already got it. If you've been notified, they've already been emailed. So they've already got it. Now, if they say they didn't get it, it could be in their spam folder. It could be they overlooked it. It could be they don't know who David Allen Capital is, or it could be they just got to go back and look at their emails again. It went out though. It's automated. It went out to the email they entered. Now, time and now and then, we've got people who enter their email wrong, and it'll go to an email that they don't use all the time, or they enter too many letters and it's rejected. Okay, so there's times when they won't get the email, but it's user error. It's never for anything other than user error, because it's an automated system. We send it right to the email they enter. So when you call them, your job is to call them and say, congratulations, hey, you've already got an email in your inbox with an application and the documents they need, right? Congratulations, you're going to be dealing directly with DAC from here forward. If I can help you with anything, let me know. Otherwise, let's get that information right away. Do you have any questions about anything, etc.? So follow up with them just to make sure they're on the lookout for that email. That increases the number of packages we get significantly. The biggest hurdle you're going to get is people who fill out that pre-qual form and never submit a package to us. They never give us the application and documents, and we never get a hold of them. 1 out of 4 people who fill out that pre-qual, we never even speak to. It's not from lack of effort. We'll contact them probably 7, 8 times by phone, 7 or 8 by email before we put them into the aged file, right? But eventually we got to stop reaching out to them, because we're not going to chase them and chase them and chase them and chase them for months on end. And if they're not interested, right? So we put it in your court. You make most of the money on this. Follow up with them. Make sure they're looking for that application. Okay. So then what happens is they fill out the one-page app. They submit the minimal documentations, which we're going to go over in a minute. They get terms presented to them. If they accept the terms, we then order contract documents and send them to them. And then the funds are wired. So I'm going to go through this again. Your client fills out the form. We're at the 1 o'clock. If that was a clock, they were at 1 o'clock. They fill out the form, and DAC talks to them via email or phone, answers their questions, etc. The client fills out the one-page application, sends it back to us with their minimal documentation, which is, you're going to see this on slides coming up, but I'm just going to say it real quick. 3 months bank statements. That's their checking account statements. That way we can see their sales deposits. It must be in a business account, cannot be in a personal account. I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to repeat that. It must be in a business account, cannot be in a personal account, not qualified. They don't even need to apply. If they've only got a personal bank account, go get a business account, deposit there for 3-4 months, and then come see us. Until then, no sense. Not one lender will approve a business loan out of a personal account. Not going to do it. No one does. We've got over 40 providers. Not one of them will even look at it. Doesn't matter how much sales. Okay. Personal account, not qualified. They may as well not even be a business owner as far as the lenders are concerned. All right. So they give us their business bank statements. They give us the merchant processing statements. They give us their driver's license. They give us a voided check, and they give us the paper application. Again, so it's the paper application, driver's license, voided check on the bank account that they have, their business account, 3 months bank statements, and 3 months merchant processing statements, all in PDF form sent back to us. We can then go to bat for them. That's a completed package. We then get an answer for them. We present the terms to them. Okay, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, you've been approved for $50,000. You're going to have a daily payment of, let's just say, $500 a day for whatever, however many days. And that'll pay back. You're going to be paying back $70,000 on that 50. Do you want to proceed? And they say, yes, we want to proceed, or no, I don't want to. 80% of the time plus, 80% plus, they say yes. Okay. So more often than not, 80% of the time they accept the terms presented to them. We then get them documents, loan documents or advanced documents, call it a contract if you will. We send it to them in a PDF form. They sign it and return it to us. When doing so, we send that to our creditors or our lenders, right? At that point, some of them, depending upon the lender, do a final underwriting. They don't do the last stages of underwriting and really, really look deeply until they have a signed contract, because they spend a lot of money doing their final due diligence. And that final due diligence is done by some of our providers only after the documents are signed. So just because they sign those documents does not mean the provider has committed to giving the money. Okay, the provider is approved them, but there's a final stages on some of these, and assuming that goes well, which about 1 out of 20 times it doesn't. 1 out of 20 times when they do their final underwriting, they find out the bank statements are fraudulent, or they find out someone lied and they got another loan 2 days ago from one of our competitors and they didn't disclose it, right? So it's never just the lender just decides to not give it. No, they find something in their final underwriting that kicks it out. So until the funds are wired, it is not funded. Until the funds are wired, it is not a closed deal, because like I said, about 1 out of 20 times it'll fall through even after the contracts are signed. All right, so a couple things I want to talk about on this situation here. Let's go back to the one-page application. Every line must be filled out. Every line must be filled out. If it doesn't apply, put NA. Every line must be filled out. Okay, there must be at least 50% represented on the application. So if for some reason there's a business owner applying, they only own 30%, then they're going to need to put 2 owners on it. You must have 50% ownership or more presented on the application. And of course, if there's 2, then we need both driver's license, right? Okay. Minimal documentation, bank statements. Bank statements, if we need every page of the bank statement. Some people do a printout of a transcript. No, they need the actual bank statements for the last 3 months, every page. The great news is most banks now, you can get that online. Pretty much any bank, it exists now. You can go online to your online banking and print out your bank statements, and they come in a PDF form, which is great because that's how we receive them. All right, so every page is required. It must be the bank account that is, or the bank statements must match the voided check, right? Now, again, we do all this with your client. You don't have to do this, but I want you to understand it in case you have a client or we need you to help us get documents because the client is slow on something or not understanding something and they call you. You just want to have this understanding. All right, so every page is required. The bank statements must match the voided check. Now, if they have 2 bank accounts, okay, 2 checking accounts, and let's say they're doing $50,000 a month in sales, and $30,000 is going in one account, 20 is going in another. Well, if they want all $50,000 to be considered for approval, then guess what they must do? Submit both bank accounts. If they say they're doing $50,000 a month in sales on their application, but the bank statement only shows 30 and they only send 1 set of statements, then we're going to assume they're only doing 30. Doesn't matter what the application says. The bank statements show 30,000 in deposits. So what they would want to do is send, Chase Bank 3 months plus Citibank 3 months, whoever their 2 banks are. They want to send both bank statements 3 months of each to justify and verify the $50,000 a month they're doing in sales. All right, so if they're relying on 2 bank accounts, they need them both. Okay, another thing to know in this section here, by the way, again, you don't need to worry about any of this, but it's good to know it. Our team knows it and talks to your clients about us every day. But another thing to know is, let's say someone says they're doing $50,000 a month in sales, and you look at their bank statements and it shows, or we look at them and it shows 50,000 in deposits. All right. Well, good. That seems to verify it. But as we look closer, upon closer review, we realize 20,000 of it is transfers in from another bank account. Then guess what our lenders are going to want? Our underwriters and providers are going to want to see bank statements for that other bank account that's transferring money in. Okay, because it could be a personal account and that's really not sales. It could be a deposit. One of the owners is just depositing money. It could be another bank account that they have and they're just transferring money from one account to the next to make it look like there's a lot of deposits, right? So there's people who try all kinds of things. So if there's a lot of transfers going on, sometimes the lenders will ask to see bank statements for the account that's doing all the transferring or answer to it. So if it's money wired in from a supplier, well, that's one thing, that's fine. But if it's from an account that you own in a bit, or they own, and they've got 2 bank accounts and they're transferring money back and forth to make it look like they're doing a bunch more sales because they have 100,000 in deposits, but it's really only 30,000 in sales, and they just keep going from account to account with it, they're going to want to see the other accounts to get their arms around how many dollars in sales is this company really doing. Deposits matters if it's from sales, right? Deposits doesn't matter if it's just transfers. All right, sales, deposits matter. All right, so that goes through the documentation. Of course, we need the driver's license. Sometimes we're going to need last year's business taxes. All right, so if you're asking for it, just ask for it up front. We ask for it as well, but we can proceed to most of our providers without last year's business taxes. Sometimes they're needed before closing, though. That's primarily to verify ownership status, not necessarily to see whether they made a profit or not. Now, when they get the terms offered to them, they're get an offer of a dollar amount, a daily payment amount, when it'll be paid off, what they pay in full, and then there's going to be fees. Sometimes, not always, fees charged by our providers. All right, and they charge those fees, not us. They are responsible for that, not us. We try to get them as low as possible. All right, but based on the deal, you got a high risky deal, there's going to be high fees because the providers want to recoup a little bit of money now in case the deal defaults. All right, so there's higher fees on the higher risk deals. As an example, we had a client today who applied with us. We got them approved for $120,000. They just took $100,000 last week from a different provider before knowing of us. And we were able to get them another $120,000 on top of the 100 they already got. And they don't even have to pay off that 100. Okay. Now, we also know that client has fraud in their background. We also know that client did not divulge that they just took 100 from another provider. We also know what that other provider is charging them. We also know what they just paid in fees. We also know what they're doing in sales. I mean, we can see all that, right? So to offer 120,000 was a great deal. The client pretended that it wasn't a great deal. And although they didn't disclose their fraud, they did not disclose they had just taken a loan, they did not disclose, they call that stacking. When you get one loan, try to get another next week using old bank statements that don't show that. It's trying to scam, right? So our providers knew all this and they were willing to give them 120, but they said, no, we want 400,000 or whatever it was. They weren't close. So they said no to the deal, all right? That's going to happen from time to time as people are scammers out there. They try to do things. I won't say that they were necessarily a scammer, but they try to get away with things, right? And when we catch that, it's going to lower the offer. Don't you think our lenders said, had they disclosed they had just taken 100,000 last week? Had they disclosed they had convictions in the past of certain fraud? Had they disclosed it instead of saying no and trying to hide it, we may give them more, but they weren't. So there's big fees. They wanted more money in fees, wanted a higher interest charge, and they wanted to improve less money. That's going to happen, right? Makes sense. There are fees, and if there are fees, they're deducted from the money that's giving to the client. So let's say someone's approved for 100,000 with 3,000 in fees. They're going to get $97,000 wired to them rather than 100. Okay, they're not paying us, they're paying the provider. And again, we don't determine that. We don't charge an application fee at all. We get them an offer. We do all this work for free for them. They can walk away at any time. And we provided them this service of getting them the best cash available. We don't get a dime unless they fund. That's just our business model, and we're okay with it. All right, they then get the documents and sign those documents and send them back to us. Once in a while, with the higher risk deals based on the lenders, there's also something called a confession of judgment, or COJ. A COJ is basically a one-page document that just says they're already confessing in advance if they default, they are liable for defaulting. This is for the higher risk deals, and sometimes they need to fill out in the agreement also something called a confession of judgment. It's just another page added to the contract. So they'll have a fee page where they agree to the fees. They'll have term pages, usually 7 or 8 pages, where it goes over the advance or loan and the repayment. And then they may have a confession of judgment. I'd say maybe 1 out of 5 or 6 deals we do has a confession of judgment because we're getting high risk deals that require that. And then once they approve, the funds are sent to them, and immediately after the funds are received, the next business day, we start taking the payment, or the creditors start taking the payment. As soon as they have the money, the next business day, the first daily payment starts. All right. So let's move on from here. Again, any questions you have on that process, we'll answer them at the end. As far as pricing, we use total cost of capital rather than interest rates. Why? People don't understand interest rates, and interest rates have various definitions, right? So we use total cost of capital. It's usually, or it's as low as 1.2 to 1.3 times the funding amount. We're finding it's been higher because we're approving a lot of higher risk, 1.3 to 1.5 times the funded amount. So as an example, 100,000, you're going to repay 128 if you're a good candidate. If you're a little more risky, you're going to pay 130 to 150 for that 100,000. Okay. Bottom line is over 80% accept the offer because the total benefits outweigh the total cost. Yes, there's a cost, a tax deductible cost, mind you. Could be 30,000, 40,000 in cost that you're adding to this loan, right? Or this advance. That's tax deductible. All right, so that's a write-off expense. But now what are the benefits? Remember I told the story about me trying to get 300,000 to go save money on my total purchase of liquid nutrition. You know, we would have saved about 30%, maybe 40% off if we bought $700,000 worth rather than 400,000. That was more than the savings. That was more than the cost of the extra 300,000 if we did it right here. So if I went and got that 300,000 here, maybe I'd pay, even at 50%, I would have had to pay 450, but we would have saved 30 to 40% on 700,000. We would have saved, you know, almost $200,000 on that purchase. Even with the cost of capital here, we would have been far better off to the tune of about $70,000 or $80,000. So even at the highest risk, it's still a great opportunity for many people. So don't worry about what it costs. People go, I would never pay that. Guess what? You don't have to, right? You know, we're not talking about collateral mortgages here, which, by the way, you end up paying about 2.3 or 2.4 times what you borrow. You don't pay 1.2 to 1.3, or you pay usually double to 3 times what you borrow on a mortgage. Borrow 100,000, you're going to pay back 300,000. Okay, so you may get a lot of time to pay it off, but you don't own any of it. 10 years from now, you still owe everything you borrowed. That's the reality of interest rates over long terms. We don't do that. We provide a capital amount they're going to pay back within a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever the terms are they agree to and can afford. And the bottom line is, did the benefits outweigh the cost? I remember when I first started, I think this is great to share this. It may speak to some of you. When I first started, I would not use any providers that charge more than 1.3. So see that second bullet point there? I would not use a provider when I first started this company if they charge more than 1.3, because I thought that is just too much, right? And so I would just get declines. They'd say decline, 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 and the client would call me and say, hey, I was able to get money from such and such company. Yeah, but what are you paying? I'm paying a lot less than I'd have to pay if I didn't get the money, David. And after a while of hearing people be frustrated that we couldn't get them approved, they'd rather say no than us say no. So I decided to, you know, I had one business owner who was trying to expand. We got him $100,000 at 1.5. They had to pay back 150. And I was like, you know, I don't know that you want this or not. You're at the highest price. You got to pay back 150 on this 100,000. And they said flat out, David, what we're going to do with this 100 grand is a lot more than $50,000 in revenue. So we don't care that it costs us 50,000. We don't have the 100. We can't do this without the 100. But this expansion is going to help us bring in a lot more revenue than we'd have if we didn't do the expansion. So don't worry about what it costs us. We can say no, but we don't want to. We want to proceed. So don't you worry about the price. Let them worry about it. A lot of agents, this is a typical scenario. People go, oh, I can't market. That's too expensive. Well, that's what I thought too when I first started. Remember I said I would not represent a provider who charged more than 1.3. And I would say right now, about 80% of the deals we do are higher risk deals that are above 1.3. So we would be saying no to all those people and we would not be helping them, right? We wouldn't have an offer for them. So now know this, if it's 1.5, there's a reason. All right. They don't just charge this. If there's a lower price available, we offer it. If you got someone who's got a 1.4 or 1.5 price, just know this. There's a good reason that's what the price is. We don't make more if they charge more. We make the same amount. I'm going to repeat that. We make the exact same amount from our providers, whether they're charging 1.5 or 1.2. Did you hear that? We get a percentage of the total loan. It doesn't matter what they charge a client. What do we pay you? We pay you a percentage of the total loan. Does not matter what they charge a client, does it? Because we're paid that way too. So in fact, on some of the deals that are lower, we get paid a little bit more because they're lower risk. Right? So, and some of our lenders pay us a point more or half a point more, etc. So that's in our total blend of our commission. But the fact of the matter is, the lower the price we get them, the better off the client is, and we get paid the same way. And we get paid on the 100,000 loan. It doesn't matter what they're repaying. We don't get a piece of what they repay back. So believe me, we go to bat to get the lowest price. And if they're offered 1.49, there's a reason they're at 1.49. It's because none of the other lenders would say yes. Or if they did, they're at 1.5, and we found one at 1.49. Does this make sense? So don't get your panties in a bunch. If one of your clients gets an offer 1.4, they go, what? What I would do is set expectations proper. Set proper expectations. Good credit, you're going to pay 1.2 to 1.3. Good credit, good package, no debt, no fraud. Not no debt, but no current loans, no fraud, no bankruptcy, no liens, no horrible personal credit. You're going to be, if you got above a 650 personal credit and you don't have a bunch of bounce checks, you're probably going to be around 1.3 or under. If you don't have above a 650 credit and you do have some bounce checks and you do have tax liens and you do have a bankruptcy or you've only been in business 7 months, you're probably going to be 1.3 to 1.5. It's just, it is what it is. So let's be honest with them up front. Save yourself and them some time and aggravation. All right. So total benefits outweigh the total cost. I know I spent a lot of time on this. Let's move on. There's no application fee. I already mentioned this. There may be origination fees charged by the funder. If so, it's deducted from the payment. Again, how do they repay these? Some of you are brand new. It's deducted via daily payments, micro payments. Rather than a monthly payment of $6,000, they'd have 20 payments of $300. Daily payments are done Monday through Friday, not on holidays, not on weekends. So there's generally about 20 per month. All right, so a 60 payment deal would be a 3-month deal. 20 payments times 3 is 60 payments. So here's an example of someone paying $6,000 a month. It's a lot easier for them. And just so you know the math, if someone's paying $300 a day, they're generally doing about $3,000 a day in sales. So the lenders will usually lend a dollar amount where the daily payment is about 10% of their daily gross sales. All right. So that gives you the math. They say if they're doing about 30,000 a month, we can probably get them approved for 30, all else being equal. If they're doing 30,000 a month, that means they're doing about 1,000 a day. They can afford a daily payment of about $100 a day. All right, so you can learn these things over time. You can also listen to this recording after if I'm saying anything too fast. And of course, we can answer your questions. So the clients stay current and the funders approve more deal. This is how the deals are offered to your client. This is an example of a 1.3 price. You get 25,000, you're going to repay 32.5 over 9 months. Your daily payment's 180. And again, if they got a daily payment of 180, they're probably doing about $1,800 a day in sales. All right. So don't miss that 180. Again, there's also renewals. By the way, that $800,000 deal I mentioned from last week, that was actually a renewal of someone who got a $500,000 in the past. They renewed for more. Once a renewal is 50% paid off, we can generally get them renewed. And let's say someone's got $100,000 they owe to begin with, and now they only owe 50. We can generally get them a renewal of a new $100,000. And they net 50,000 in new money, you get paid on the new money. Now this is assuming it's the same lender. If, however, we switch lenders, you get paid on the full 100 because it's a new lender, they pay us on the full amount. So let me give you an example. Let's say Bank One gives your client 100 grand. They only owe Bank One 50,000 now because they've been paying on it for 6 months. And they say, we need more money. And they come back to us and they say, we need more money. And they go to Bank One and they say, we need more money. And they say, okay, we'll approve you for another 100, but the first 50 is paying off your old loan. And they say, no problem, we only need 50, so that's great. They give them a new $100,000. The first 50 pays off their old loan, and now they have a new loan for 100 grand again. They net $50,000. That's the scenario you're looking at right here. You would make your full commission on 50,000, the new money. All right. If, however, they came to us and said, Bank One, we still owe 50, and we say, well, you know what? We've got Bank Two who's willing to give them $100,000 right now if they'll pay off their first 50. They're going to net 50, and we can give them a little better rate, let's say. Well, cool, we'll take that one. It's a better rate, better price, better total cost. So they go with Bank Two. Well, now Bank Two is going to pay us on the full $100,000 because it is a new deal, and you would get paid on the full 100. So if possible, without disrupting the client, like that 800,000 was done with a new provider. So 300,000 of it went to pay off what they still owed on their old one, but the rep got paid on all 800,000. If we use the same provider, the rep would have only been paid on 500,000, the 800 minus the 3 that had to get paid off. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask questions at the end. Why do our funds make sense? Well, we serve bankable and unbankable. We fuel entrepreneurs to grow more. Time-sensitive opportunities like my inventory discount, get through a tight pinch like taxes or payroll or leases that you aren't paying and you're about to be evicted. If the cost of the capital is less than the benefit, they proceed. If you own a business, do you see how this could help you? Of course you do. So getting clients. Let's talk about what we say to get clients, and then we'll go to questions. I've gone longer than I wanted, but I wanted to make sure you understood the process. You simply refer bird dog clients. All right. So now, one of the things that's most important to know is what we've seen, and I've seen this myself with all the clients I've gotten. When business owners know we exist and business owners have confidence in our cash, business owners will call us to get cash eventually. I'm going to repeat that. If business owners know we exist and they're confident in us, you, in other words, and the cash you're offering, then they will call you eventually for capital. So every time you're having a conversation or bird dogging and informing a business owner that you know that we have capital, you're setting up a future client. They're going to call you in the future. They're going to want your solution in the future. So if, however, you don't help establish confidence in the capital we have by overpromising it, by sounding immature about it, by promising the world and sounding too good to be true, then guess what? You won't establish confidence in the capital and they're not going to call you. They're going to call some bank, right? So the three things that matter is, number one, you have to inform them. Number two, they have to have confidence in you. How do you get that? You don't get overly excited. You don't promise the world. You don't guarantee you can approve anything. You don't guarantee you can get them $30,000 if they're doing $30,000 in sales. You don't guarantee any of that. What you say is, the good news is we have providers who want to help business owners like yourself. They look at your cash flow more than your credit score. I can't promise anything, but I can promise if you can get approved, we can approve you. If money does exist in the small business funding, we can approve you because we represent all the providers. So if you're ever going to try, go through us. We represent all the providers. And if you decide it's not for you, great. Costs you nothing. That establishes confidence in them. You didn't promise anything. You inform them of our competitive advantage. We represent all of them, right? So you simply bird dog refer clients, and here's the three ways. You inform business owners you know. You canvas as a customer with spending money. That is, when you're out eating in the sushi restaurant, you're out getting your tires repaired, ask to talk to the owner. What are you going to do? You're going to inform them that we exist. You're going to let them know we've got capital that we'd love to get them if they ever want to get some. And you want to give them your drop card and let them know if they decide they need capital in the future to let you know, and you'll take great care of them. Can't promise anything, but if it exists, we've got it. And then networking or canvassing in an area. I mean, you in your own town, everyone should know what you do. They should be informed that you provide business capital. They should have confidence that you can get them capital. It's credible. and then they will contact you when they need it. Of course, you can go social networks, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. And you can advertise Google, pay-per-clicks, all those. You can try that stuff. But the bottom line is it's fanatical prospecting. You're constantly getting the word out. You want to inform every business owner you know that you are a business capital agent. Now, I'm going to show you a sample of what we say, but I want to make sure you know of these drop cards. Drop cards are postcards, basically. They're conversation leave behinds. They're not direct mail that you send out to a bunch of people and hope they work. No, these are leave behind billboards for people after you've spoke to them and introduced them and let them know we exist. You then give them one of these drop cards. If you have a business owner conversation with a business owner and inform them of what we do and establish confidence and credibility and give them this card, you are going to, without a doubt, get clients. When I have someone says, I've passed out 300 cards, I don't have a client yet. This is what I know. They passed out 300 cards. We've never said go pass out 300 cards. We've said go have business owner conversations and leave a postcard behind with them as a billboard. Tell them to keep it in their drawer for when the time comes to need capital. We've never said just go pass out cards. So if someone's able to pass out 300 cards in a week, they're not having 300 conversations in a week, right? That's not possible to have a real business owner conversation with that many people. So live. So make sure these are a tool that you use. Sample what we say. I just want to introduce myself. My name is David. I'm with David Allen Capital. I'm a small business capital agent. We represent companies who actually like to provide businesses like yours money. So I just want to leave you this card in case you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue, or maybe you're in a tight pinch. We can help you get access to funding. It's simple. It's fast. I can't promise you anything, but it's based on your sales revenue more than your credit score. If you got great credit, it can only help you. But if you have poor credit, no worries. As long as you have great sales, and we can get you approved as fast as one day, funding in under a week. It may take a few days to get approval, but the bottom line is if that cash is available, we can get it for you. If you can get approved anywhere, it's going to be through one of our providers. We represent all of them. So let me just leave you this card. You ever want to expand or anything, you let me know. It's that simple. That is all we do, is inform and leave a card. Inform and leave a card. Inform and leave a card. And it's interesting. I've not been prospecting a lot over the last week, but I've got 3 personal clients who filled out the form this week. And it's not for my prospecting this week. It's for my prospecting in the past. But I got 3 just this week who filled out the form. My wife's got 1 this week. She hasn't handed out a card or had a business owner conversation in a couple weeks. See, when you establish the right relationships, these people come back and use you in the future. I remember my wife's very first client filled out the pre-qualification form about 5 months after she was having the conversation with my wife. My wife had her nails done there 1 time. She canvassed as a customer, asked to talk to the owner, told her her husband was in small business capital. We might be able to help her, gave her one of our cards, informed her that we exist, and said, if you ever need capital, you come see us. 5, 6 months later, that woman filled out that pre-qualification form. She kept that postcard in her room and filled it out when she needed cash. That's how this works. It does not work by just handing these out and putting them in people's windows, etc. Now, if I pull up to a Home Depot and there's a construction truck outside and says Joe's Roofing, you can bet I put a card in Joe's door handle. Count on it. You can bet if I'm at a gas station and there's a landscape company filling their gas, I'm going to say, hey, you the owner? Count on it. Of course. Or if they're not even in the car. There was one day I was walking into a restaurant and there was a landscape company with its front windows open. No one was in the truck. So I went and set it on a seat. And as I was sitting on a seat, they come walking out of a Subway. I was going to a restaurant next door. They come walking out of the Subway and they looked at me like, what are you doing? So I said, hey, are you the owners of the landscape? They said, yeah, I am. Hey, I just put a card on your seat. Why? Because I represent funders who love to help landscaping companies to grow. Man, if you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue, or you're in a tight pinch, my card's sitting right on your seat. We'd love to help you, get you capital. I'm local to you. We'd love to help take care of you and help you grow your business. The card's right there. If you have any questions, let me know. Every single time you see a business, canvas as a customer, business owner conversations. Again, simply get them to the process. They go to your website, fill it out. We take over from there, don't we? Yes. I'm not going to go through a lot of details on this comp plan. It's all results based, only paid by generating a client. Okay. You can earn zero. There's no income ceiling. I'm going to blaze through this real quick. You get 2.5% to 4% of the funded amount. All right. How do you make more? Get more clients each month. You get minimum 2.5%. Your very first full month, you make 3% minimum. So if you just started, you're making 3% right now until the end of your first full month. If you start today, May 22nd, you get 3% all of May and all of June, your first full month, full calendar month. You get 3% of any funded deals. All right, 2.5 is the minimum. Once you have more clients each month, you can make more than 2.5 to 4. Again, 50,000 in funding, 1250 to 2 grand. Monthly client production determines whether you're at 2.5, 3, 3.5, and 4. And again, 3% is what the minimum is during your first full month. You're paid the Friday after funding, unless it's funded on Thursday. Then you're paid the second Friday after funding. Any deals that fund by Wednesday night, Wednesday close of business, you're paid that Friday. Is that cool? The very first loan you get approved on, or the first commission you earn, we are going to send you a commission statement from David Allen Capital. It's going to be an email. I write them myself. You're going to get an email from me, and it's going to say, congratulations, you funded your first deal. We need certain information, though, so we can pay you a direct deposit. We need your routing number and your account number, and if your tax ID is not on file, we ask for that. And we send you all that information. You reply, and then we direct deposit your money to you. Okay, now because we don't issue those emails till Thursday, if we don't get it back from you until Friday, we can't initiate the payment till Friday, which means you wouldn't get it till Monday because it takes 1 day for ACH to get into your bank. So we'll send it to you Thursday. If you can get us the information Thursday, we can get it initiated it by close of business Thursday. You'll have it Friday, but generally your first commission you don't get till the Monday because we initiate it on Friday. You get it on Monday. Going forward, on your second commission and on, we'll tell you on Thursday you've earned it. We'll also initiate Thursday, and it'll be in your bank on Friday. Isn't that cool? All right. There are times when it's not until Monday based on the bank. My son's bank, as an example, if I initiate it on Friday, it'll be in his bank on Saturday. My bank, I have a smaller community bank. I initiate it on Friday. I don't get it in my bank until Tuesday. So it has nothing to do with us and us sending the payment. It has everything to do with the bank you bank with and how long it takes them to handle an ACH direct deposit, right? These are not wires or direct deposits, but you are paid by us the Friday following fund day, okay? Obviously, you're making more. The more fundings you do, the more money you make. Okay, I will say this, there's times like that $800,000 deal, the rep had to take a cut in commissions because to get the deal to approve, the bank had to lower the pricing significantly, and if that is ever the case, they get our permission first, and we don't say yes until we get permission from you as the rep. So the only time you would make less than this 2.5% is if you know about it in advance. And it's rare that it happens, but periodically it will happen where we'll say, okay, we can get you this $400,000 deal, but you got to make half commission or 75% of the commission instead of full commission because that they got to lower the pricing significantly and they're going to pay us a lot less. See, we pay you a percentage of what we get. So if they pay us less, you're going to make less. If they pay us more, you're going to make more. So the good news is it's flowing. But there are times when they come to us and say, you got to take less on this if you want us to approve it. This is what the client's demanding, and we just can't do it with the commission we have to pay you. So what do you want to do? Do you want to say no to them and decline it, or do you want to take a cut in your commission? It's rare, but if they ever do that to us, then we come to you, and you would send us an email signing off that you're okay with a lower commission, and we proceed. Okay, so rare, but I want, we're doing full disclosure training. I want you to know it can happen. Also, we have agent referral bonuses, as you know, not just direct commissions. And that's when you refer an agent, you automatically get paid on any reps you've recruited, any of their funded clients. 100% of the people you personally recruit, you get paid. All right. And there's also other referral bonuses. You're not limited by territory. You can refer as many agents as you like. And you can even qualify to get paid on your second, third, and fourth level, et cetera, by getting more clients yourself personally. You're going to make between 0.5% and 1.25% of anyone you refer as funding. So if you recruit me, you're going to make 0.5% of the funded amount, any fundings I do this month. All right. You can earn up to 1.25%. And the way you do that is by getting more clients yourself. You want to look at our comp plan training for that. We're not going to go through it in detail here. But again, let's say you introduce Lisa. Lisa helps a client get 80,000 during her first month. She's going to make 3% because it's her first month. She made 2,400. How's Lisa doing? She's excited. You're going to make a 0.5% minimum. So you're going to make 400. You could be making 1.25, which if it would be 1,200 on that same deal. We'd rather pay you 1,200 than 400. How do you get to 1.25? You go out and get 15 clients total over time. Once you have 15 clients personal, you're at 1.25. As long as you do one more month, one every 6 months, you maintain that 1.25. So go get that 1.25. How? Get 15 clients yourself. All right. We also have other perks through longevity. We'll go through this another time, but you can get car allowances, team bonuses, even revenue sharing. Learn about that through the longevity services trainings we do. All right. You can also earn on merchant processing, business telecom, etc. But this is a DAC training. So again, you earn 2.5 to 4%. You can earn 0.5 to 1.25 on anyone you personally refer. All right. Now, other trainings you want to do after this one, you want to go through some of the videos in the Resource Center. You go to the footer of your website, davidallencapital.com. You'll need the password broker1234. You can get in there. That is in your welcome letter when you join David Allen Capital. We have live weekly calls. We have team leadership meetings with your upline leaders. And of course, we have the Trailblazer training for anyone who's serious about building this business. Those are the next trainings you want to go through. So, covered a lot of information, covered it quick, but yet, you know, here we are at 45 minutes. So if you have any questions, 50 minutes actually, if you have any questions, I'm happy to cover them at this time. I see the attendance is still high. A lot of you came and have stayed. Thank you. I'm going to go to the questions section now and let's see what questions you have. I'm in California, David. Are there any questions on how I'm presented here versus loans? Yeah, absolutely. We don't do loans in California, and in many states we don't do loans. We do what's called advances. The law in California does not allow someone to market loans unless they're a licensed broker. You're not a licensed broker. And so our providers don't do loans in California. They only do advances, which are treated the same by way of the business owner. They get money now and they pay it back with payments over time. But the language in their contract will say that they are selling future sales, expected future sales. So we're advancing money. Our providers are advancing, let's say we're advancing $100,000 against your future anticipated sales, and you will be paying it back a percentage of your sales at such and such dollar amount per day, you know, $112 a day or whatever it is for the next year and a half. So it's just like a loan, but it's not. The contractual term is an advance. You don't ever want to use the word broker. You don't want to use the word loan. We don't like to use that anywhere. We call them advances. And most of our training, you notice how you're called an agent, not a broker. Most of our training, we talk about advances. When we get into these trainings, we like to say loans just for sake of simplicity as we're going through things, loans and advances. We use them interchangeably, but as far as you're concerned, when you're talking to clients, these are not loans. These are not loans. These are business capital. We provide business capital. Thanks, Tom. Great question. Love to have your energy, buddy. Welcome to the family. And I saw Donnie Solons is your team leader. Great news for you. Hopefully you already got my email on that. We know that our competition and capital providers fund franchisees. Is that true for us as well? Anyone that our providers fund, we fund. Yes, absolutely. We do franchisees, individual franchisees. Yes, we don't fund McDonald's corporate, but if a McDonald's business owner wants a loan, we can fund them. Absolutely. How can you order the drop cards mentioned during the webinar? Great. You could go to mydactools.com. I just sent you a link to everyone, mydactools.com, and that will get you your drop cards. Is there a list of potential providers that can be given to the potential borrowers? No, there's not. We don't provide that list to our customers. Of course, they could go to a bunch of them direct, number one, but also that list changes from time to time, and we may not send that application to that provider. Once we look at the package, we don't waste our providers' times. We already know their criteria, so we don't want to disclose a provider and then not send it to them and then have them say, wait, you said you were going to send it to such and such because it's on your list. All right, so we don't provide that information. We reserve the right to send it to any provider we want. Please recap on the payout schedule once more. Okay, so if a deal funds by Wednesday close of business, we then pay it that week. Okay, we don't get paid from our provider until Friday, so we don't release funds until Friday, but we will notify you on Thursday that you are qualified for a commission that week. We give you a commission statement. And then we will direct deposit it on Friday into your account, which will mean it'd be in your account Monday. Okay. Sometimes we direct deposit it Thursday, which means you'd have it on Friday, but we don't promise that. We say Friday, put in your account on Monday. All right. When it's your very first capital commission, business commission for DAC, we request of you your routing number and your account number for your bank. We don't want it until you've qualified for commission. If anyone sends it to us before we get a commission, we delete it. We don't want to set up thousands of people who may or may not qualify for commission. Time is required to set these up. So when you qualify, we then ask you for your routing and account number. We then insert that into our bank and set up a direct deposit for you. Manually, we create that. It takes a little time. Of course, we do that and we issue your payment. You probably won't get that first payment till Monday because you're not even going to get us the information till Friday, right? Now, all ACHs must be in by 2 p.m. Friday for them to go out on Friday. So if you don't reply to us till Friday at 2 with your routing and account number, then obviously we're not going to be able to put it in until Friday, which means Friday evening, which means it won't initiate until Monday, which means you have Tuesday. So it always takes 1 day from when we initiate. So the first check may take a little delay because we're waiting on the routing and account number, but once we have that, they'll always be initiated on Friday going forward and in your account on Monday at the latest, sometime sooner. Hopefully that answered your question. Thanks. Is there still a term on advances or is it open-ended until paid off? Oh, there's a term on advances, Tom. It's treated the same way. So it may say for the next 10 months, you're going to pay back part of your sales at the rate of $150 a day for 10 months, as an example. Then the advance is paid in full. So there are terms. Love it. Thanks. You bet, Tom. Thank you, buddy. I missed some of this. Is there a way that this recorded training can be emailed to me? It can't be emailed, Cheyenne, but what you can do is you can go to our website where we keep them. And we keep them, if you go to Longevity Services Facebook page. Well, better yet, since you're DAC focused, go to the DAC Agent Resource Center. You'll need the password of broker1234. Okay, and that's at the DAC Agent Resource Center, which you'll find in the footer of your website, footer of davidallencapital.com. In the footer, you'll see Agent Resource Center. If you click on that, enter that password that I just shared, broker1234, no caps, no spaces, you'll see a link to the recorded webinar staging page. It'll take a day before this is uploaded because it doesn't have it instantaneously, but there's other trainings already there like this that you can watch. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate the fine words. 2 questions on renewals. Okay, 1, will we be told by someone in DAC, will someone in our team reach out and attempt the refunding? Yes, absolutely. Some of our, Matthew, how you doing, buddy? Some of our providers do that for us. Some of them tell us when they're available and then we do it. So yes, you don't have to reach out to the client. Now, I keep track and I reach out to them and let them know, hey, because I have a relationship with them, right? So I'll reach out to them and go, hey, by the way, you should be about half paid off. So you're eligible for renewal if you're ever looking for more capital. And by the way, some of them are eligible to get more capital even before they're half paid off from a different lender. So it's okay to let them know. If you ever need more capital, let us know. We'll see what we can do for you. All right. But yes, we do reach out to them. And the second question, is it incumbent upon the agent? No, it's not incumbent on you to approach them. Second question, what amount of the client's original total costs do they still owe when renewing with the same original? Well, that's all based on how much they've paid off. So if they've only paid off half, then they still owe half. So it's not amortized like a loan where they're paying all interest up front and no principal. It's not how these work. These are a set dollar amount, equally proportioned toward the total payoff amount. So if someone owes $100,000 for 9 months and they've paid for 5 months, then they've paid off 5/9 of that 100,000. right? Exact, and so they owe 4/9 of that 100,000, right? Well, let's do it easier. They have a 10-month loan for 100,000, and they've paid off 7. They still owe 30,000 total. It's real simple. Do they still owe when renewing with same original lender and or new provider? Okay, so I think I understand your question, Matthew, but let's say they owe 30,000. They come to us and that original provider wants to give them capital. They owe 30,000. It's the same amount. If they go to a new provider, the new provider will look at the amount they have outstanding. It'll still be 30,000. So the new provider will either say, I'll give you a second position where you don't have to pay off that 30. I'll give you 100,000, let's say, or I'll give you 200,000 if you're willing to pay off that 30. Those are the type offers we get. Hopefully that answers your question, Matthew. If not, go ahead and ask again. Steve, thank you, buddy. Appreciate the fine words. Cheyenne, thank you. Thank you. How about a company that doesn't fully make all their daily payments? Are part of your commissions charged back? Great question. No, we don't have clawbacks. We've negotiated with all our providers to not have a clawback in commission. However, I'll tell you a situation where we had someone take $500,000 and never made a payment, and it was complete fraud, and the rep was in on it. We did not pay that rep their commission. That is the only time. And when I say in on it, it was proven the rep was fraudulently trying to help them. Now we had another deal, another $500,000 where they were funded and they didn't pay any payments after the first 3, and the rep still got full commission. So if we know the rep's involved, and first of all, if the rep's involved, the lenders are going after them for fraud. I mean, they'll be arrested. This is no joke. That's real money, right? That's above the felony dollar amounts here. We're not these lenders don't mess around. Okay, if you got this kind of money, people are lending billions of dollars. They also have legal teams that'll kick someone's butt for fraud. Right? They're very lenient when it comes to someone going through a tough time. They want to help someone pay back. But man, if someone changes bank accounts, they get the money and then they change accounts or stop payment, you got a client who's ever talking about doing that, tell them don't even think about it. But no, Steve, there's no clawback in commission. I suppose there could come a time when there would be one before they get commission, but we've never had that situation. Where's the training on where to prospect and what are the best ways? There's the basic training number 1 when you got started. I gave the overall though. I mean, the bottom line is where to prospect is business owners. Business owners, like the one slide I talked about, business owners, number 1, canvas as a customer. Every time you're out as a customer, talk to that business owner. Number 3, canvas in your local area, all business owners. Right? Those are the 3 ways. The 4th way is social networks. The 5th way is cold advertising. Those are how you prospect. Now, if you need more detail than that, it's really not going to help you much more than that. Those are the 5 things you can do to prospect. Talk to business owners canvas as a customer while shopping in establishments, canvas in your local area, social media networks, and advertising. That's what you're boiling down to. Now, how you do that is really, do you call them over the phone? Do you email them? Do you text them? Those are up to you, right? But you want to, as I said, the ingredients are inform them that we exist, let them know it's real, give them a card, let them know you're here to help them when they're ready. And I promise you, if you do that, you will have clients coming to you. They won't all be ready today, but when they need capital, they'll come to you. What happens to the commission when a client defaults on the deal? Well, we just answered that. Nothing to you. No clawback policy to you. But if we find a rep is doing things and telling people that, and if, let's say the rep is also the business owner, then there may be a different story. But for the sake of you guys, if you're talking about you're just going out and doing this, but some clients default, you're not going to lose your commission. What are the top 3 reps doing to generate their personal fundings? Everything I just said. That's what they're doing. I'll tell you this. We got people who have telemarketing teams. They'll submit 30 deals and they'll get 1 approved. And they'll waste a lot of our people's time chasing those 30 deals, and half of them won't even answer our calls. We're not looking for people to cold market and just throw a lead into our system and say, cool, you work them. we'll stop working those people. We'll tell that rep, listen, you're not a bird dogger. You're a telemarketer just throwing a bunch of leads into our system, hoping some stick. We're not going to chase your people for you. If you have a legitimate customer, have them fill out the lead themselves. If you're filling it out for them, we can tell, and we're not going to keep calling your people. You call them and you get the package. So what we talk about is what I just said. If you do what I said, you can get to the point where you have 5 to 10 clients a month just by doing what I said over time, and then you got renewals. If you need more than that, then you're going to be getting the packages yourself, because you're going to be calling telemarketing and doing a bunch of cold marketing, and those leads don't close as well. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it, but just know that our team is built to help bird doggers, not cold marketers who throw 50 leads into a system and say, hey, they're leads. No, we've had people buy leads and just enter their names into our system and think that we're going to just call them for them. No, that's not what the system's created for. This is for clients to fill out. And if a client's not filling that out, we're not going to chase them. So I would say, Tom, the best thing to do is do those steps that I mentioned. Business owners, canvas as a customer, canvas in your local area, and then go to the next area. It can be over the phone, but man, circle an area and say, I want to make sure every business owner in this little city, there's 70 business owners. I want to make sure all 70 of them know who Tom Cotter is, and that Tom Cotter is their source of business capital. And I want them talking amongst themselves that Tom Cotter is the dude. And then once I got that done, I'm going to expand the circle, and the next city's got 30 business. I'm going to make sure all 30 of them know who I am and that I exist. And guess what? Of those 100 business owners, 20 of them are going to need capital this year. Bam, you just got 20 deals. You won't get them all this month, but if you try to build a relationship with 100,000 people, how many are you going to get? You build a relationship with 100 or 200 or 300, you're going to have a lot of clients coming your way over and over and over again. I pick up a nugget each time we hear the presentation. Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate the kind words. Is it legally possible for me to collect docs in California? No, it's not, Tom. You don't do anything except refer a client. You are not a broker. You just refer a client to our website and they fill out the form and we take it from there. You do not accept documents. We don't want reps getting documents anywhere. We want to do it all ourselves. Thank you, Tom. Need you to clarify on something. A client owes $130,000 on a $100,000 funding amount. It's halfway through the term. That means they've paid $65K, yes. Does he still owe the $15K from the balance of, oh, I see. Does he still owe $15K in interest because he's paying it off early? Yes, he does. There's no prepayment penalty, but there's also, you agreed to pay back this full amount, whether you have it for 1 day or 12 months or whatever the term is. However, Matthew, some of our providers, not all of them, some of our providers provide a discount on that 15 grand in interest in this example. In the example you typed to me, I know not everybody can see that, but if of the 65,000 a client owes, 15 of that is interest, and they pay it off early, do they still have to pay the 15 grand in interest? Yes, they do, but they may get that 15 grand discounted to say 12,000 or 13,000. They sometimes put a little discount on it. And you asked that. If not, is there a discount available? Yes, there is. There's usually a discount available to them to pay it off early. That's the final question. Hey, great, folks. Thank you very much. We're out there to help a lot of people. Of course, we've got the other service divisions as well. There's nothing that pays upfront capital or upfront commissions to all of you by helping business owners like this. So hone it in, get it worked out. When you figure out how to do this, you'll have numerous clients each month. It may only be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but you'll have them every month and it'll start to become a significant income, and you'll have a team who can do the same thing and it starts to become a significant income on the team. All right, doesn't happen overnight, but you can see how once you get this down, you get your confidence. There's not a business owner out there who I can't talk to and not feel confident we can help them, right? And once you're there, I wasn't there when we started. Once you're there, you've got clients coming your way. You're helping them, you're supporting them, and you're getting paid to do so. Couple thanks. Great call. Great. Thank you both. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. That's it, folks. We're going to end the webinar on that. Have a great night. Go out there and help some business owners in your area.